Let me click record for us here. All right, let's get this thing going. So back with more of the free webinar series. This is the Yogapreneur's Guide.
This guy, please.
Oh, oh my goodness. Don't worry, I'm going to mute you. Okay, there we go.
Sorry.
You're all right. Everyone should come in muted, but sometimes it defaults off there. So we got it. Yeah, Yogapreneur's Guide to COVID-19 Strategies, Best Practices, and Support to Maintain Your Business. And really importantly, we're going to talk a little bit about this today, your sanity, because let's be honest, that's a huge component of what we have going on here as well. Hey, Jenna's downstairs. Good. Molly, I see you. Hey, Angela. Been hearing good things, my friends. I know you've been rocking it. Okay. So let's jump right in. Oh, let's see if this will do or not. I guess it needs me to do this. First, we like to start out with a few win stories. I wanted to read just a really quick note that Jenna and I got yesterday. I think this is an important detail because, one, it gives me a warm fuzzy and Jenna a warm fuzzy, but also I just want to make the point that a lot of what you guys are doing and the benefit that it's having to the people around you might not register for you in the same way right now because you don't see them day by day. So this is happening. I mean, one of the things we just said, we had someone send us a text, I'm just reading right now, it said, I wanted you all to accept my virtual hug and high five. There is, all caps, no way I could be where I am at week 3 of this without being part of your group, the Yogapreneur Collective. Not only are the resources valuable, but the connections, the friendship, and the camaraderie is through the roof. So I agree, and I really appreciate you guys that are members of my group and how much you've been supportive of each other as well, and it's really important. But I also wanted to highlight that, you know, one of the unwritten win stories that we're getting reports on in a roundabout way and that you need to register is that by you going through this additional effort right now, by you going through, you know, the transition that is being forced upon you, and by not sort of putting your head in the sand and by really taking action, you are supporting your entire community in a way that cannot be understated, that people really desperately need right now. That are, you know, there's a lot of hyper isolated people, you know, my family included. We're still in quarantine because of traveling, and Jenna's going crazy. I'm fine, not actually, but we're all going a bit nuts. So it's so important to have a community to be able to lean into, and you guys are providing that. A couple of emails and questions coming in. People were asking, yo, Josh, where do I get the recordings of the previous free webinars? This is where you get them. I'm going to copy and paste this into our chat right now for you. So let me just jump in there. Here you go. So you can link over to that. They're 100% free. Thanks, Heather. We appreciate you too. 100% free. You can go and watch the recordings. And then heads up, I'll let the cat out of the bag. We have developed a course on what to do around this because some people want it more in that format. We're going to be launching it. I'm crossing my fingers. My video editing guy, Wilson, if you're on, you're going to hate me for saying this, but Wilson's going to edit all of the 17 videos or whatever it is that we've created today and get them out to you guys as soon as possible. So just stay tuned for that. Maybe it'll take longer than that, I'm sure, but we're going to get that to you as fast as we can. Okay, what are we talking about today? So these are things that we have been talking about already, but I just wanted to make sure that we covered again because these are the questions that keep coming up over and over. And just keep in mind, as we've been discussing, this is a fluid, very dynamic, dare we say, flexible time where things are going to change literally every day and how we approach it. So upsells, downsells, and then the big question is starting to be, okay, like I've got my feet under me. We've got some sort of a virtual thing going on. Like how the heck do I get some new students paying me some money? How do we increase the situation here? So that's what we're going to start to focus on today. We will have time for Q&A at the end as well. So first, downsells. For those of you, like, we're just keeping this as simple as possible. There is no stupid question. There is no like jargony stuff in here. If you don't understand something, it's important to ask. So the first thing is, what the heck is a downsell? A downsell is offering a client a lower price point option or an add-on. So someone who's already purchased something, we're just offering them another option, either additional to or a lower price option. Downsells are one of the most powerful things that you can have strategized right now, in my opinion, because they're what's going to save clients for you. And we're going to talk about that right now. So the first thing is that uniquely at this moment in time, the major goal of a downsell for you is not to make more money necessarily. Now, obviously, yes, you want to make more money, but just to keep your cash flow alive. The real purpose is to keep them in your sphere of influence and have them paying you literally anything at all. I'm going to say that again, anything at all at this point, because you need to start planning for your comeback. Now, I'm going to be real with you guys. You've been hearing me talk about this for the last couple of weeks. This is not going to be over next week, not even by the end of April. And even if it's magically over tomorrow, there will be a lag between that moment in time and when people start patroning your business on the regular, paying you full price again. So hope for the best, plan for the worst. And part of that planning is when we get to this moment where you're going to open your doors and ramp back up, you want that lag time to be as short as possible. And you want to get the biggest wave of people coming back in. You want people chomping at the bit so that when you say, yo, I'm opened, there's a lineup around the friggin' block and everything's awesome again. So part of that are your downsells now. The reason why I'm bringing this up is that you have to think of like the consumer psychology that we know to be true for 2020. And as a result of this, if I cancel a membership altogether and I am not in your sphere of influence anymore because I have opted out, I may have even unsubscribed from your contacts at this point, then when this is over and you want me to get back in, you have to get a message in front of me. I have to listen to the message. I have to make a decision. Yes, I want to do yoga again. I have to make another decision. I want to do yoga specifically with you. I have to make another decision. I want to pay for yoga and give you my credit card. And then I have to physically show up at your business. That is a friggin' enormous action. That's just being real about it. The alternative is anyone who you still have on your membership, anyone who you still have in your sphere of influence, even if they're paying you $1 per month, honestly, they don't have to opt back in. They're already in. All they have to do is get a warning from you that says, yo, we're open back up over the next month. We're ramping back up to a regular membership. Come back in and participate in our awesomeness. And they don't look somewhere else and they don't have to consider, am I in or am I out? Because they're already in. Then they would have to say like, no, you know what? I want to cancel my membership, which the data tells us, statistically speaking, people don't want to do that either. They don't want to make the decision in or out. They want to just stay where they are. That's where people calibrate to. So at this moment in time, your downsells need to be strategized to maintain the largest number of people in your sphere of influence as possible for this comeback that you're going to be making. So here are some quick examples. Half price off your regular membership. So if you have people still paying you full price and they're like, hey, you know what? I can't afford it. I want to cancel right now. Hey, I totally hear you. What about if you pay half price? That's a downsell. The alternative would be a virtual membership. And the reason that's on there is if the price of your virtual membership is going to be or is different than half price of your regular membership, those might be the same thing. And then I would say as well that it's a good idea to have a second downsell. We don't normally do this because it's a little bit salesy stuff, right? But if someone says, listen, Josh, I've lost my job. I have no income. I'm really scared for my well-being. I cannot pay you even half price. Then for 100%, we need to help that person out. That's a pay what you can situation. So this is going to be case by case, but my recommendation would be to say to them, and you can't just say, well, just pay whatever you want. That's not going to work. It has to be deeper than that. So the communication sounds something to the effect of, all right, I've got you. I totally hear what you're saying. You're right. That's not the best fit for you. We're still on a mission to provide the resources for you to be as healthy as possible in mind, body, and soul in a time when it is absolutely necessary. Let's be real for a second. What can you afford? Give me any number because it's so important to me that you continue to have access to our community and help. And then accept anything they say. If they're like, I can pay you $1 per month, cool, let's do that. And I know that sounds insane, but it's this sphere of influence concept. It's the leg on the backside, and it's really brand building. That story that person's going to tell in 8 months, 10 months, 2 years from now to other people, they're like, holy shit, when I needed it, they were like, sure, $1 a month, I don't care, is going to go way beyond what you think it will. So it's not a public facing thing. I'm not suggesting you switch to that system, but as part of your downsell strategy, on a case-by-case basis, it could be very powerful. Worst case scenario, they won't even give you that number and they say no. Try to put their membership on pause instead of cancellation so that you still have that easy communication point. Again, cancellation is what we're trying to get away from because of the sphere of influence concept. Now, there's a couple outside of the box. You can see this awesome put together little outside of the box drawing I made for you guys. It took me all of 47 minutes. Anyways, so these are way outside of the box. I say these a little bit reluctantly. I just want to put them on your radar. This is like for those of you who are like, we've got this dialed, we got our systems in, I got people. Like if you're just starting out and this is complicated, don't look at these yet. These are just like next level stuff, okay? First is a credit back offer. So you might have a bunch of people who are still paying you full price. One of the offers you could make to them, either as a downsell or preemptively actually, would be to say, look, keep paying your full price right now. And for every month that you pay full price during this pandemic, I'm going to credit 50% of that onto your account at the studio for you to use in the future for whatever the heck you want. You want that towards membership, whatever else. Because the thing is, worst case scenario, this goes on for 3 months, 4 months, and someone ends up with 150 or whatever, $200 on their account because it's half. And then they like buy some retail from you, or they get a couple months at the back end without paying you once your other memberships ramp up. You're not out, and they stay in your sphere of influence and they stay part of your community. So, and you maintain your regular cash flow right now with a larger percentage of people. So that's why that could be a really cool play. And then the other thing, we've seen people actually offering this. I would actually build this into my studio right now if it was possible. I would say like sponsor a yogi in need. For this person we're talking about that's like, legit, I can't pay for your virtual membership. I can't pay $20 a month. I've got no money. Like I'm seriously freaking out here. I can't pay for it, but I do want to practice. I'll be back later. Have other yogis help them. So you could say, if you guys are wanting to be generous, if you're still working, if you got lots of cash and you're just whatever, sponsor a yogi in need. And there's two versions of this. One is buy a virtual membership for a friend. So like you just tell us our virtual membership is X dollars per month. Tell us who it's for. We'll put it on their account. Done. Simple as that. The alternative is, and you might even make a special rate for that, will be like, if you're sponsoring another yogi, we'll let you pay only 75% or only 50% of it. It could be something like that. The final thing is pay full price membership. So it's sort of similar to the credit back. You keep paying your full price membership, even though our virtual membership is less money. And the difference, let's suppose it's 50%, we'll donate to one of the yogis in need. We'll donate to someone who says, I've lost my job, I can't afford yoga, I'm canceling. We'll keep a record of you guys who are paying full price, and we will donate that additional to somebody else, and we'll let you know that that's happening. They don't even need to know who the specific person is, but you will have some full price members who are like, I'll keep paying full price, give the difference to someone who needs it as well. So it's another way to keep people paying full price. The person who's getting it essentially for free because it's someone sponsoring them is still in your sphere of influence. So again, we go back to the same point. Keep these people in the sphere of your influence as much as possible. All right, so then upsells. How do we take someone who's paying one thing and we increase the amount of money they're paying, or how do we upsell them from one existing pass to another one? An upsell is offering a client usually a higher price point / higher value option or add-on to what they already have. So that's the basics, 101, what's an upsell? The goal of having an upsell, why you should think about what an upsell might be, is to increase the number of people in your sphere of influence. It's also to increase or maintain your immediate cash flow. So you want to increase your immediate cash flow, yes, but the bigger goal goes back to this sphere of influence concept that there's two ways to look at it. You want to save as many people as possible from leaving your sphere of influence. You also want to increase the number of people in your sphere of influence. And that's the thing that what I'm seeing right now, if I'm looking across the board, across countries, across businesses, yoga, Pilates, whatever else, this is the detail that there are very, very, very few people even attempting at this moment. So I think there's a unique opportunity. Again, keep your priorities straight. If you're just getting your feet under you, getting your memberships going, getting your virtual classes going, focus on that first. But at some point, we want to start to say, okay, cool. this is an opportunity right now for me to build my list. It's an opportunity right now for me to create more contact with more people in my local community, so that again, during my comeback, I'm going to come back like a phoenix rising from the ashes and friggin' take over this entire market, right? So that's really the bigger goal of the upsell. So let's be clear about what that is. Examples really quickly: a virtual membership, that is an upsell. And be so careful with this information. Those of you who are not in my group, you haven't heard me go on complete tears of rants about sales in a yoga studio, but a sale could be an upsell option right now. Be so careful that you don't completely fuck your cash flow doing a sale though. So you cannot sell a discounted 10 class pass, a discounted 3, a super cheap drop-in. Those sorts of things are terrible for you right now. What I'm talking about, and also let me preface everything I'm about to say by saying, if you have a sale, it should be to increase your sphere of influence and increase your immediate cash flow. It should not be to save your studio. If you are legitimately on the line of closing the doors, I don't think anyone's quite there yet, but like if that's where it is, a sale is not the solution for you because it puts you at significant personal liability and it's ethically messed up. The other detail about a sale is if you're going to have a sale, sell something big. If I want to make $10,000, I can either sell 100 10 class passes at $100, or I can sell 10 annual passes at $1,000. It makes way more sense to sell your big ticket item. So if you're going to have a sale, an example would be like a super pass or something. You say like, look, it's almost like a pre-sale. Buy for when the studio opens back up. You get a whole year, you get a bonus month, and we'll include a mat for you. And it doesn't start until the day we open back up. And we're going to limit the number we sell. We're only selling 5 of them. But then right now, boom, $5,000 comes in because you have a high ticket item. So it might be an option. I know it's just totally, excuse my language, but shit on that, but it might be a good choice for some of us. All right. Okay. So then the other thing with upsells that people ask, who do we upsell? So it's not just what do you upsell, like who are we actually upselling to? So the number one group that I would be going after in your studio right away is anyone who has a class package. Go into your Mind Body System, your Mariana Tech, your Pike 13, whatever you got, pull your report. Anyone who has a current class pack. So that's your 5 class, your 10 pass, your 20. Those of you who are still selling big ones like a 40 or a 50 or something like that, this is a perfect example. Go get that group of people, send them a unique series of messages. Don't just send one, send like 3. Maybe ring them up as well, phone them, text them, whatever it is. Get the contact there. And realize that what they purchase, let's say you sold a 10 class pass for $150. It's $15 a class that somebody's paying. And now your virtual membership, if they were to practice twice a week, would be lower than that. So the leverage point here, and also if I bought a 10 class pass and I have like 5 or 8 of my classes left, I have to get through those first before I pay you again. So right now I'm a liability to you. I'm not paying you any money. You want to move me to paying you right now from a cash flow perspective. And you don't want me to use up my 10 classes this month. If I use up my 10 classes in April and then I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to buy this virtual membership thing again. Now I don't have an existing pass. And when you open back up, it's going to take me longer to come back in because I have to make a purchase decision again. So the opportunity is to defer it, to say, hey, if you have a class pack, you're welcome to continue to use it to pay for our virtual live classes. But we understand that what you actually purchased was for our in-person classes. So if you want, put it on hold. Any expiration details or whatever else are null and void. We're going to start it back up with 0 expiration when we open back up and opt into our virtual membership instead, which might technically be less money per class, but right now it doesn't matter because you want the cash flow. And now when we open back up, those people, we now say, cool, your virtual membership's over. You can start using your class pack again, or there might be another upsell opportunity there. And now they're paying that full price for those classes, and they're not going to go sign up somewhere else, and they're going to come back into you because they still have classes with you. So they stay in your sphere of influence. Number 2 are any recent non-pass holders. So anyone, I would use a parameter like 6 months is probably a good amount of time. You could go as far as a year. Anyone who's been in your studio in the last year of time and doesn't currently have anything. So they did their intro, or maybe their 10 classes are used up, or they canceled their auto pay 6 months ago, or whatever else. That group of people are still highly vetted leads for you because they've already physically been to your studio. You have theoretically some level of rapport with those people. So they're probably going to pay more attention to you. Focus on that group and sell them probably your virtual membership. So you're upselling them from nothing to your virtual membership. We'll talk about virtual memberships in a second. So hit on that group as well. And again, I said this in the last meeting too, for those of you who are still falling into the category that we're like, I don't want to spam people, people's inboxes are full, I don't want to bug them. My friend, I've got to just tell you, it's way better to run the risk of someone being like, the one person that's like, hey, stop contacting me and unsubscribes from you, for the 10 that might potentially sign up or that love it because you're engaging them in some way. So there's no real risk there at this point. And then the third one is, for some of you who've been operating for a long time. If you've been open for 5 years, 10 years, a couple studios in our group are beyond 20 years of time, your list of contacts is like 20,000, 30,000 deep. We got a studio that has 50,000 contacts. That is an enormous group of people that even if they don't physically live anywhere near you at all, it doesn't matter right now at this point in time, does it? Because they can do your virtual class. So hit your entire list, maybe your non-members, and I would probably filter it by someone who's practiced X times or more. So like, you're not going to send this email to someone who did one random drop-in while they were visiting their aunt who lives down the street from you 4 years ago. That might not make sense. But anyone who did like 3 classes plus means that they actually had some real interaction with you, right? Hit that list of people. Same thing, make them a really strong upsell offer to your virtual membership. It might be join our virtual membership and that's it. That might be the upsell. It might be some additional special thing to get them in the door. Hey, first week free, then virtual membership or whatever. But just why not go for that? That's how we start to create a few new sales as well for this whole thing. And again, more people in our sphere of influence. One like outside of the box comment that I'll make on this is that we've been talking a lot in our group about what this looks like in the bigger scheme of things and in the long run. The most important detail is just the basic understanding that most of you probably have already realized. Whatever your studio was before, you're not going to be that studio when this is over. End of story. There will be a new version of your business that exists after this, at least in the subtleties. So increasing your sphere of influence right now may create opportunity for you in the future that we cannot even predict just yet. We don't even realize how it's going to do it, because someone who doesn't live near you might fall in love with you right now and still somehow participate with your studio, even if it's just giving you a good review and stuff at the end of this that will benefit your business tremendously. And it just came to my mind as I'm saying it, that like people are meeting each other in online dating across the planet. So it's not like our culture doesn't know how this works for the online stuff. Okay. Virtual memberships. So a couple of things that I'm finding, people who have been joining my free strategy calls. So we do a free strategy call for people who are interested in joining our membership. People who are jumping on there, we always, the last like 6 in a row, we've had the same conversation. So the first thing with your virtual membership is virtual memberships to anything probably don't look anything like what your brick and mortar yoga studio or class-based business had before. That's the truth. If you think about how you pay for your Squarespace site, or how you did like a video on demand thing, or how the members that are part of my Yogapreneur collective pay, it's not like you're in or you're out and then we have like, you can buy a 10-pack or a 5 or a 20 or a 1 month or a 3 month or an annual or an auto pay, or like none of that shit's there. You usually have like 2 options max. So I would just highlight that you can't look at what the yoga world has previously been doing as an indicator for what it should do right now at this moment in time. So you've got to like just rethink your strategy. The major detail that I would point out here is that 1, your stress level understandably might be running a little extra high right now. Don't add to it by making things complicated. Keep it simple, silly. KISS principle. Number two, your team needs it to be simple, because if it's not, they can't sell it. They need to be able to explain it like this, easy and fast. So keep it simple. And number three, and this is the most important one, the consumer psychology of this is different right now. It's unlikely that what I'm thinking is I'll either buy the virtual membership and then I'll choose option A, B, C, D, E. It's unlikely that's my thought process. My thought process is more likely to be I'm either in or I'm out. It's a yes or a no. That's it. It's way cleaner. It's way tighter. So I would lean into that in general. Keep it as simple as possible so that the strategy is easy for you. The strategy is easy for your team. There's no thought process about option this, option that, because one of the biggest risks by giving too many options, and this is the same for regular pricing in a yoga studio, for every additional option you get, I have to make in my subconscious mind an additional decision, and I get decision fatigue extremely fast, especially if I'm in a stress state like right now, and I will procrastinate myself out of purchasing anything. And you've experienced this in your yoga studio before. If anyone at your front desk, when you're trying to sell them a membership ever, has said to you, okay, these are good options, but I'm going to think it over. We call that the death sentence. It's the most terrible thing someone can say to you in a sales conversation, because it's very difficult to flip. So that's what we don't want, is to think it over. We want a yes or no. No is not optimal. We don't want no's, obviously, but at least we can accept it. Someone just says no, okay. But we don't want to make it too complicated. So here's some examples. First off, this is a really simple calculation. It might make you cry a little bit, so warning, but it's a good calculation to get a starting point for what's the peg point that you should start to work towards. Divide your current expenses, current, not right now, and you might have to do some guessing on what that's going to be, by the number of members that you either A, have, or realistically think you can get. So if you have been one of the studios that's gone to an all free model right now, and now you're saying, okay, I want to get people paying again, realistically, how many people do you think you can get paying you? Not the price point, but how much influence do you have? So for example, if right now your expenses are like really low and you're like, I can run on $6,000 a month, and I think I have 80 members and I think I can get 20 more, I'm going to have 100 members. You would need $60 per person per month to cover your expenses. So then you would try to formulate a virtual membership around the $60 per month mark. It's just a starting point. It's not to say that that's the best. What I would say the big caveat to this is because I can't tell you that's the thing. Unless I physically stood in your studio for a while, I can't tell you the local mentality and sort of the feeling of things. You know in your area what seems like a lot of money or not normally. You check your intuition, your gut is going to tell you. I can say right now that in Canada, no one ever carries a $50 bill. They're like a really obscure bill. No one carries cash anyways. But like if you say something's $50, people are like, that's expensive. At least where I live. If you say something is $40, they're like, okay. So I don't know what that is. It's just my gut telling me that where I live, that's like the precipice point. So I would probably not price a membership at 50, but I might at 45. So there is just your guessing game elements. Trust your intuition on this as well. So some example ones would be like half price of your regular membership. So if you're charging 100, it would be like $50 a month. The one major thing to consider, so $60 per person per month is what I need, but I know that people are going to be reluctant about the $60. They might not be reluctant about $15. So change the parameters. Charge $15 per week. If you're using MindBody Online, for example, it's really easy. You can build an auto pay that's $15 by the week instead. If you said to someone, our virtual membership is $15 a week, no minimum anything, then what's their risk? They're like, worst case scenario, I do a couple classes this week and pay $15. I hate it. And then I opt out. But what we know statistically speaking is that once someone has opted in, they're probably going to stick around for a little bit. So you're probably going to be hitting that $60 per month and above for most people. This is a really easy upsell. So when we go back to like, who do you upsell? You're hitting this list. Imagine you're sending the email to these people, the text of this email, and your offer is buy this for $15 versus buy this for $60. You see the difference? So that might be why this is kind of a cool way to play it. The final one, and this one is just for those of you who love to do it a little bit different. It is possible. It depends on your management system, your CRM. So MindBody can do this, I know. I think Mariana Tech can do it. Maybe Tula. So it depends on what you're using, but you can do a recurring class card. So I would never sell like buy 5 classes. If it's me right now, that doesn't make sense. I want recurring. But what you can do is say our virtual classes are $7 per class, and you always have one in the bank. So every time you take a class, it buys you your next class. So you have like one ahead. So they only pay for the classes they take. This is risky because if they only ever take 2 classes a month, you're only going to make $14, something like that, using 7 as a parameter. On the other hand, if someone takes 5 virtual classes a week, they're going to pay you $35 a week all of a sudden. So hypothetically, it has the potential to scale itself. And then your entire goal is you're getting a great deal per class, could be $5 a class, whatever. Your entire goal for you or your team is just to get people practicing as frequently as possible. So your entire communication, engagement, everything is meet me at tomorrow's class. Hey, are you coming to this class? Hey, did you take class with like just to get people engaged taking classes? So that's a little bit outside of the box possibility there. I'm going to jump to your guys' chat questions as well. You can keep putting them in there. It's just hard for me to move back and forth when we got the slide deck up too. So a couple of the other questions for virtual memberships really quick. When do you move people to a virtual membership? The big message that we've been giving a lot of you guys is don't panic and cancel everybody or put everybody on hold. If you've already done that, you're okay. We can still deal with it. But the basic idea is keep as many people paying you as much as possible for as long as possible at this moment in time. So the first major thing about virtual membership, when do you switch people, is if you see like a mass exodus. Not maybe the first wave. If you're like, okay, we're virtual and you get 20 cancellations, but then it stops, then you're only getting like 1 a day. That might be not be the mass exodus. That's just the first wave. So you kind of do your best you can with your downsells there, leave everyone else where it is. If you start to see another mass wave, you're starting to get tens of cancellations a day and your downsells not working, that's when it might be time to be like, okay, I'm going to put a Band-Aid on this. We're switching to our virtual membership, and you move people over. So it's a little bit of interpretation in real time. The other detail here about the virtual membership is you want to control this narrative. So you want to do it as the good guy and say, hey, we're dropping your guys to this virtual membership now. Thanks for your continued participation. It's really awesome. And then in that narrative, in that message, I would also share with them the opportunity to be the hero. If you're still working, if you're like one of those people, you're still working or you're really wealthy or it's like it's not a big deal to you and you can afford to keep paying on your full membership, please continue to do so. Thank you so much for continuing to support the studio. Don't make anyone do it at that moment that you're going to move down, but let them be the hero. Give them the option. You will have people who will say, I'm good, dude. Just keep charging me. That's the truth. And at this point in time, you don't want to feel slimy about it like you're swindling someone into that. But if you give them the option and they say, yes, hey, you've done good for me for the last 4 years. I don't have a sore back. I can chase my kids and this is keeping my sanity right now. Please keep charging me the full $100 per month. Just say yes. Empower that person. Take their money. It's not a negative thing. It's a positive thing. And then the other thing about this is it's relative to how much effort you're putting into pushing your virtual membership. So at the point where you're going to start like forward facing, talking about join my virtual membership, that's when you might also be shifting people towards the virtual membership. So like we said, this is a dynamic thing that we're going through here. It's going to be fluid. It's going to keep changing as we're going. All right. And then the final thing for today, getting new clients. So, you know, it's time for a lot of us, for those of you guys who are in like, you know, the East Coast of the States or, well, whatever, anywhere in the United States, and you've been on lockdown for a while, maybe you've got a whole week. I know it sounds funny to say like it's only a week, but each week right now feels like friggin' a year of time. So you've got a whole week under your belt. You've got like a flow going with your virtual classes. It might be time to start trying to ramp up and try to get some more new clients. We've talked a little bit about that, but here are your 4 places that you could start leveraging towards getting new clients. So 1, if you have free clients, and this is a question from Novo Yoga. Thanks for putting it in, you guys, coming over from Italy, where you guys have been just absolutely obliterated by this whole thing. How do you transition your free clients into paying clients? So Novo Yoga has been offering free classes, you know, on their Instagram and on their social media or whatever, and they now want to get people paying again. So the first thing is convert any free clients you have. So if you've been doing anything for free, you need to convert them into paying now. The truth is, the easiest way to do this is just stop offering classes for free. That's it. I know that sounds too simple, and I think right now your mind's probably going, well, they'll just stop practicing with us. No, they won't. The reason you've been offering it for free is to create a relationship and rapport with them. They're going to keep wanting it. So you'd give them a warning and be like, hey, we've got this new virtual membership. Thanks for your support. And then don't say anything. Just stop offering any free classes that are full length or anything like that. Just stop offering them. Instead, still do free stuff, but look at it from a marketing strategy. Your free stuff is like a quick tip or trick, or do this one exercise, or do this one stretch to feel good if your neck is sore because you're sitting in a chair on your computer all day working or whatever else, but you don't actually offer a free class. So I would say, generally speaking, it's nothing over 10 minutes in length, because I can go on YouTube and get a bunch of 10-minute stuff. I can also get full-length stuff, but it's less likely I'm going to go in there and look for a 1-hour yoga class or even a 30-minute yoga class, right? So that's the stuff that's behind some sort of a paywall, whether it's a Vimeo channel, a thing on your website, a private Facebook group, whatever it is. So just straight up, just make the transition. The thing is, if you lose some of your free clients, doesn't matter. They weren't going to pay you anyways. The other thing about free clients, I would say, is there might be one interim detail here. You might offer 1 or 2 classes still for free, but they have to opt in by giving you their name and email. Because if you've been offering stuff for free, if you have your pixel from Facebook or your Google tag set up properly, that might be tracking them. But a lot of people have been opting in and watching your stuff for free, which isn't negative towards you. It builds your brand credibility and is going to help you get more paying clients right now. But you may not have collected their data so that you can have a direct contact with them. So the small stepping stone, if this isn't too complicated for you, is offer a couple things for free over the next few days, like just through the rest of this week, that force somebody or ask someone to give you their information so that when you launch on the weekend or on Monday, now we're moving to a paid system, you have an email to hit up with that. That's the one thing to be considering. Now, number 2 is leveraging your existing clients. Your existing clients, your brand ambassadors, they're going to be your best promoters right now. They have friends and family who are in lockdown or quarantine or whatever else, or practicing social distancing as well. So ask them to refer you. Be like, hey guys, we already said the email list stuff, but anyone who's already paying you something, give them like a virtual buddy pass. You know, invite your friend to come do 1 free class with us. And then when that person gets the free class, they're going to give you the name and email. And then you're going to market them and be like, I hope you liked our class. Why don't you join our virtual membership? Who knows? That person could be in a whole other country and they might join because they want to participate. If I like Angela, if Angela's my sister and she's like, I'm doing these incredible classes for Molly right now, you should come take one. I take one. It is an incredible class. And then Molly says, yo, join our virtual membership. And I can have like a communication. Hey, we're going to take class on Tuesday together virtually with my family member. We don't need to be anywhere physically near each other. So leverage your existing clients. Number 3, leverage your contact list. So your contact list is like, we've already kind of talked about it, all the people you have. That list is incredibly valuable in a business, like way more valuable than the majority of class-based businesses realize, especially because this is a total tangent. The next era, the next phase we're going to move into over the next decade is called the era of data. Whoever has and controls the data is going to win. So all of those people you've collected, that contact list, that is an enormous data point for you. You can email it, you can text message it, you can probably phone people that are part of it. you can also run it as a custom audience in your advertising, which might be a really good move right now if you've got the cash flow for it. Number 4, you could start advertising. So right now, the cost per click on Google and Facebook is down because a lot of companies have just pulled their ads altogether. If you are really strapped for cash right now, this might not be an option for you. That's real. If you're okay, there might be an opportunity for you to be promoting your free content through a little bit of paid, so you're hacking the algorithm. And you might be, it's possible, depending on the market you're in, you might be legitimately the only yoga studio who is running paid advertising right now in like a 5-mile radius. So you might appear all over everybody's shit, which would be awesome. Because the other thing is, what are people doing right now? They're online. They're doing stuff online. So if you're running Google ads, if you're running Facebook ads, if you're running Instagram ads, amidst all of the other stuff, and the example would be, you can target things like virtual classes and stuff like that that people might be searching for, and then boom, you show up for sure. For a very little ad spend relative to your local area, there might be a significant opportunity for you to capitalize on there. At the very least, from a brand recognition and brand building standpoint as well. Okay. Let's keep going here. So I've got a tremendous amount of contact over the last couple of weeks. Literally, I almost want to show you guys my email inbox. It's ridiculous. People are asking a lot of questions that we're trying to cover in these things. In these free webinars, I haven't pitched what we do at all because that's not the objective. We need you guys as wellness businesses to survive and thrive, because business leadership legitimately is the most important leadership of our time. So I haven't pitched this, but we've been getting questions. Some of the questions are like too in-depth, too detailed, and we're covering them in my group all the time. So my group is called the Yogapreneur Collective. It is insanely active. I just want to tell you what it is in case you're wondering. If you're isolated right now, it's weirdly isolating when you own a wellness business, and it's even more isolating now. If you're really isolated, you're not alone. There's a whole group of people that you can have as support. So $125 per month, no minimum anything. You get our resource library, our webinars, one-on-one coaching, and access to our Facebook group. For example, our Facebook group is legitimately like the best sounding board for community and wellness entrepreneurs ever. Just this month, we've had 430 plus posts, 3,700 plus responses, and 50 plus videos. It is crazy active for like real-time feedback on what's going on. It's a community of heart-centered business owners on a mission to improve the world and run profitable studios that don't feel like a job. That's basically what we're doing. So there's my totally softball throw at you guys. But if you're like, I need more, I want more contact, I need to go deeper, this is the resource that you're looking for. Who do we work with? Any class-based business. If you run classes, you can join the group as it is right now. We focus mostly on yoga studios, obviously, because we talk yoga, but we have worked with entrepreneurs in any class-based business in the wellness world as well. Okay, let's jump to Q&A. Thanks, you guys. Got a good 10 minutes here. I'm going to scroll back up to the top. Go Wilson. Yeah, right? Okay. Should we preemptively start the conversation with members in a newsletter, or just have it in our back pocket when someone wants to hold or cancel? So I think Thrive Yoga, what you're referring to based on the timestamp of that, is like the downsell options. And we kind of answered this, but to be really thorough, you want to control the narrative around your community as much as possible in general, as a general rule of thumb, because if you appear that you are in a reactionary state, it downplays the effectiveness of what you say next. So as much as possible, you want to be preemptive, but you also have to be real and kind of play it cool, right? So don't panic and start sending out a bunch of stuff. So you got to kind of just trust your gut on this. But for the downsell options, what I would say is one of the first things we would do, whether you specify the options or not, is send all of your existing members a love letter. Because if you say nothing at all to them at all, and then in like a month from now, they're like, hey, I can't believe you charged me, like that sort of stuff, that's what you're avoiding. So send them all a love letter that just says, hey, Thank you so much for continuing to support the studio at this time. We're still on a mission to provide you with the resources to keep yourself happy and healthy and awesome during a time when this is absolutely necessary. This is what we're doing to do that. We really appreciate your continued support. That might be it. And you don't say that you're switching anything to anything. And then if you get people emailing back and saying, wait a minute, cancel me, that's when you could potentially do something else there as well. So that would be at least the starting point for it. Firebrand Sports was asking, what about class passers? Yeah, this is an interesting question that's come up. First off, the very first thing you should do if you're running stuff and ClassPass is saying is part of your equation, get on the phone with ClassPass today. Phone them 50 times until you get someone. And if they don't give you someone who's going to do business with you, hang up and phone back and get somebody else. ClassPass, we're having reports of ClassPass negotiating with studios and paying them proportionately more per class than they ever have before. So check what you're getting paid by ClassPass. Make sure that it's high. And if it's not high, get on the horn with them and make sure that it continues to happen. And then the one thing is, there's no point in you limiting anything with ClassPass at this moment in time, because you're not going to probably convert those people to something else. So you might as well open it up, because virtually you can have, if you're on a pro account with Zoom, for example, you can have up to 100 people. So unless in your own studio you already have 100 people coming to class, you might as well have class passers in there as well. All I would say is make sure that stays high. So usually ClassPass has traditionally based what they pay out per class as a percentage of what you charge for your 10 class pass. So that might be a good rate. If you usually charge $18 a class, it's $180 for your 10 class pass. So then ClassPass is going to pay you, $10, $12 per person. That's probably a pretty good rate right now. I would actually, I can't even believe I'm saying this, honestly. For the first time, I would lean into ClassPass. Be like, yep, we're all in. Unlimited number of people can participate, because that's a decent amount right now. Also, I would say, as a side note, make sure that for participation, people have to have opted into your system. So the bottom line is, build your sphere of influence. Anyone who participates, even with ClassPass, you want their name and their email, at the least probably their phone number. Because if I'm on ClassPass, but I take 3 classes a week with you right now, doesn't matter that I'm with ClassPass or not. What matters is I'm creating a relationship with you and your teachers in your studio. When this is said and done, that's when you're going to hit all those ClassPass people specifically with a really strong upsell and steal them from ClassPass. That would be part of my strategy. So there might be some leverage there as well. What do we recommend for a price point for virtual memberships, percentage of regular? Yeah, Liz, I think we got to that. Price point for virtual member, you're going to calculate on what your sort of current expenses / burn rate is, but also trust your gut on this thing. And just remember, outside of the box. So any other virtual membership, it's usually like, this is your weekly price or this is your monthly price. And at the very most, they often have 2 options, sometimes 3, but it's usually 2. And the options are, this is what you pay per month if you go monthly. This is the discounted what you pay per month if you buy a whole year up front, right? So that's not as easy for us to do right now, because, oh my gosh, fingers crossed, isn't going to last anywhere near a year. But that's the consideration, is just keep it really simple. Generally speaking, it's going to be in or out. So keep your number of options controlled. With the per week, are you getting the dollars in every week or just once per month? Yeah, great question. With the per week, technically, you're getting the dollars in every week, which you want to do because of the cancellation thing. So there's a difference between, you could present it as it's $15 per week charged monthly. You could present it that way. That might be an option for you. What I would suggest, though, is people will see through that and then maybe start to consider like, oh, there's some risk because I'm going to get charged $60. And then they might ask for like a partial refund. Oh, I only used 2 weeks, that sort of stuff. So to eliminate that, just actually charge them weekly. Yes, you're going to pay more in payment processing, but do the best we can right now. Oh, well. Plus your cash flow. If you're charging, you got 100 people paying you $10 a week is what you're netting. Then you got $1,000 a week. Every week, $1,000 comes in. That's way better for your cash flow balance to like keep a more consistent thing right now as well. So that is the other sort of advantage of that. Simon was just saying he just did this and a good portion said that they're in with it. Thanks. Yeah, awesome. Way to go, Simon. I love it. Taking action, my friend. Kim was just asking, can we cover teacher comp adjustments? Yes. Let's talk about that again. We've gone over it quite a few times. It keeps sort of changing. The base idea here is that you want to lower your total expenses clearly. So the first thing to do in lowering your expenses, other than going and talking to your landlord about your lease, other than any large recurring expenses, other than loans or debts, if you have anything with a bank right now, go renegotiate it, because even if it's on your personal side, because interest rates, like if you're in the United States, you're in a negative interest rates as the base. So you have every reason to go renegotiate. And then the final thing is, every country, we're starting to see a lot more of, like right now it's coming into play for governmental help on some level. The problem with it is the speed. Governments, most of them I know in Canada, they literally do not have the system of distribution because the government was not designed to handle this way. So all I would suggest is know what your options are for your expenses and how the government might help with a special loan or a refinance or a forgiveness or whatever else, and get your application in as soon as possible because the lineup's going to be friggin' huge. So other than that, teacher pay, staff pay, that's going to be your next largest expense after those things. So the first thing to do, lower the number of classes that you offer per week so that you're paying teachers less frequently. If you were previously running 6 classes a day, as long as you're recording the classes, you probably do not need to offer 6 classes a day right now. So if you go from 6 classes a day to 3 or 4, you just cut, even if you were paying the same amount per teacher, you just cut your expense in half for your teachers. So that alone can be fundamentally powerful for your business. And as a side note on the schedule stuff, you just really don't need to offer 3 of the same class every day if there's the recording. If I miss one, I can go get the recording. So yeah, do the best you can. Now, the other detail here is to just get very real with your teachers. Some of this depends on if they were an IC versus an employee, but I would just have an open conversation with them and just say like, yo, you know, I really appreciate your guys' continued part of this community. Get them pumped up on what it is that you're doing. People need us right now more than ever. They need your yoga class. They need your expertise more than they've ever needed it before. And if we together lead, people are going to stay with us and continue to keep their lives awesome. So it's really important what you're doing. I'm going to be very real with you guys. As you know, we're in a very difficult time. And to be real, I cannot continue to pay you at full price. Like I can't pay you the same way I was paying you before, but I also am very aware that you guys need to live and eat. I'm here for you in every way I can, and I want to support you as best that I can by creating as much opportunity as possible. So here's the new parameters of existence. That's how I would broach this conversation. So start with that. And then in terms of specifically, what do we adjust? I would probably switch things to something that is highly performance-based. So it's the outcome that's getting paid for, not the action. This is a general principle that really this paradigm should be there anyways. But the detail that we're talking about is, if I say I pay you X for teaching a yoga class, that is an action. If I say I pay you X for teaching a yoga class that also has a recording, is of a certain quality that I could nest online, I own the intellectual property for, and has a minimum participation of 10 people, that's value-based. It's a little bit different. So you might switch to an hourly pay rate would be one of the elements to do this. So let's say you had 1 hour long yoga classes before and you paid them $40, but they had to show up 30 minutes before and stay 30 minutes afterwards. Then you paid $40 per 90 minutes. So actually you paid somebody $33 an hour. And then you say, I can afford a little bit, like a 20% less than that right now. So I pay you $27 an hour for a finished value-based produced content piece. So if you record a yoga class of a certain quality for me that I can use, I will pay you $27 for every hour of yoga class produced. So it has to just make sense, basically, for people would be the big thing. The other outside of the box things for teacher comp is just consider creating opportunity and taking things off your plate. If you want that free content as lead magnet stuff, tell your teachers, okay, we're paying $25 a yoga class right now that's an hour long, but I'll give you a bonus $25 if you give me 10 one-minute videos that's like a little posture tutorial or breath technique or something like that. They have to be like usable quality for social media. Give me 10 of them and I'll give you $25 bonus. So now they have opportunity to create more money for themselves. If you have 5 teachers, they each give you 10, you have 50 pieces of content. You can drop 2 a day for the entire month of April in content. That's a huge power move. And you don't have to produce it. All you got to do is schedule it out or get someone to schedule it out for you. Okay. Oh, Paola's saying she's actually in California. Okay, Novo Yoga. Sorry, Novo Yoga is in California. We have a couple of the Italian crew coming in here too. So it was confusing which one was which. Free classes are through Mindbody. They have to book online. Yes, awesome. So Paola's just commenting. I know she jumped off, but just, or I think she jumped off. They still have to book through Mindbody. Great. So even if you're doing free stuff, the big thing is like, can you get someone's information? What would you recommend for content for these ads? Yeah, great question, Kay. I mean, right now, just like any advertisement that's out there normally, let me say this again. Normally, the advertisements that we see are not necessarily the advertisements that we would want to make anyways. So, but now more than ever, I think that we're at a moment in time where it's going to become even more important for us to be sure that we're offering value to people relative to the moment in time. So if you run an ad that says, hey, we've got a virtual membership for $15 a week, come join. Yeah, you might get some people, but like you need to acquire those people for under $15 for it to be worth your while. So that's going to be hard to do. On the other hand, if you just put out free content, yo, here's a 5-minute quick stretch for when you're in quarantine, right? Or, hey, here are the top 3 techniques that we know that help you keep your sanity, breath control, stretching, and physical movement every day, and what you can do during social distancing. Or here's the best stay healthy recipe that every yogi knows that the public doesn't know. Like, here's a quick crash course in 3 minutes in Ayurveda. Whatever you've got in your wheelhouse, that stuff that's value-based, that's what I would put out there. And I wouldn't just run it as an ad. I would put it out publicly so your group and everyone sees it. And then I would let it engage for like a day. And then I would run it as an ad. So it has social proof connected to it as well. If it was me. And to be clear what the audience for the ad is as well, in case the question comes up, wide audience. It's just, I would say like studio plus 5 miles, people who are between 25 and 65. That's it. Leave it wide open. It's going to burn through the ad spend doing that faster, but think of the bigger picture. This is a brand recognition thing as well. Best money spent. Thank you, Sarah. So thankful for the group. You bet, Angela. We're thankful to have you guys in there. Meg was just saying, oh, everything changed. I joined 8 months ago. You guys are lovely. Look at this pumping me up in here. Okay. Given we now know that we'll likely be closed through April 30th, just wonder when I should offer the virtual membership downsell option in the vein of fairness to them. Yeah, so I think we've covered this, Thrive. I think you've probably got it. But, you know, do it preemptively. But just remember, like, there are some people that they're still working, still got money. They were retired before and they're still retired now and they've still got the same money as before. They want to support you. So just, even when you're going to say, okay, here's our new virtual membership, still create the option for people to be a hero and just pay you the full amount. Or maybe for those people specifically, that's where you have the, like, if you can pay full, we're going to give you that 50% credit moving forward. That's where that might be a cool option. So just create that opportunity for yourself, because in the end, if you had 100 total members, they're paying you what's the equivalent of $50 a month, but then you have just 10 more members paying you $100 a month, paying you double. That's a significant uptick in your cash flow. So why not make the offer for people? What do we think about selling a very discounted annual, which starts now? So currently it's virtual, but then it becomes real. Yes, that could be an option. Okay, you know this full well for your business. The key to sales is to make sure that they aren't stuck. They don't mess up your cash flow in the bigger scheme of things. So yes, you could do that. It creates cash flow for you right now in time. Just be careful it's not going to undermine cash flow for you next month, sort of thing. So if you have 50 paying members and 25 of them buy that, and then next month you got no more money coming in, that might not be as optimal. So you just have to be careful with it. But yes, that could be an option. Paolo is asking, I'm not clear how to record a class and, it just moved here. I'm not sure how to record a class and how MindBody and upload it on MindBody or website. Yes, those of you using MindBody, their video on demand platform is live. They haven't announced it yet because they're testing their beta group for hiccups. This week, they're going to send the announcement, hey, this is live. This is how you do it. In the free course that we're making, I have a video that walks you through every click on how to do it. It's not complicated. Just as a heads up, basically you still have to have your videos nested somewhere else. They don't actually live in MindBody. They're still going to live in Vimeo, or they're still going to live on YouTube. So at this point in time, what you need to know is whether it's your website, MindBody, a Facebook page, whatever, it doesn't matter. Any video that you record, you got to just make it live somewhere, and then you're going to embed it wherever else you decide in the long run. I would highly recommend YouTube as a very simple option with less control and privacy. Vimeo as a better option with a little more expense, but you have more control and privacy. The alternative option, private Facebook group, you control who goes in and out. You can live stream to it. You can upload videos there. So if you're looking for the ultra simple, get it done today option, private Facebook group is really simple, you guys. Go that route. If you don't have one as well, like you can have that whole thing set up today. But in any case, MindBody is basically going to be, they log into MindBody, they have a virtual membership, there's a list of the virtual classes, they click and it takes them to wherever you have the class embedded. That's the way it's going to work right now. In the long run, they're going to have streaming and stuff as well. Yes, Paolo, you can charge. So that the key to MindBody, the only advantage of MindBody is that it's already in the MindBody system, and you can build a membership in MindBody and charge through MindBody for access to the tab where they click to go watch a class. That's why. Yes, they are recorded videos. They are not live videos. Yes, live video I think is coming in MindBody Online, but like probably 6 months out. It's not going to happen during this time. Also, it's free to use right now, but I was on the phone with like 7 people over the weekend, bugging them, and we got the clear answer. We don't know what it is. They will definitely be charging for this feature in the future. So heads up, I don't think they're doing this in any swindly way. That's not what I'm suggesting. I think they are legitimately just trying to help. But if you use this platform now, in 6 months from now, there's going to be some fee involved with it, which might make you reevaluate the situation. I don't know, just so you know. Okay, last couple of questions because we're just over time here, you guys, and then we're going to keep going. If I charge half off weekly as a membership downsell, should a new virtual membership be the same price? Yeah, Rebel, that's a great idea, Billy. I would just say if usually right now at this point in time, especially for where you guys are, whatever your downsell is probably just going to be your virtual membership. That way you're not like communicating one thing and then another thing and then another thing. So that's a great idea. Yep. Big River Yoga regarding upsells to virtual memberships versus a 5 or 10 pack. We have no idea how to get this going to last. A pass seems to give a bit of hope. Monthly gives sense for a very long time. Was to do a pass option instead of virtual memberships or upselling to try to give some hope to the situation. Thoughts on this? I'm not sure I entirely understand the question, Big River Yoga. You can unmute yourself and explain if you want, if you're still on. I think what you're saying is it's just a philosophy of approach change here. What I would suggest the understanding be for everyone is just that the reason any small business closes in most Western cultures is not because it isn't necessarily profitable. You can be black on the books and still fail as a business. The number one reason a small business closes is lack of cash flow. So if I sell a 10 class pass today for $50 or $80 or whatever you're able to charge for it, then one, I get the money right now, which is great, but I don't have no guarantee I get money from you next month, which might be when I sync. The second detail is the psychology of the consumer, in that if I buy 10 classes and I have X time to use them and I have a fixed rate per class, I have no subconscious incentive to try to participate at a higher frequency. In fact, I have a subconscious incentive to try to stretch my 10 classes out as long as possible, because when I run out, I've got to buy again. So that would be, in my opinion, the philosophy behind why you would try to move people towards pay a virtual monthly membership that's just unlimited everything. You get the cash flow. They're just in. All they have to do is participate. That being said, if someone has an existing 5 class or an existing 10 and they say to you, I don't want to pay you more money right now, I just want to use my existing membership, cool, let them use it. I have no problem with that. I think that makes perfect sense. All right. Oh, Paolo was just saying again, how do we get a recorded class uploaded into MindBody or onto my website from like Zoom Cloud or whatever? Yeah, Paolo, this is really like a highly technical question. You gotta come in my group, my friends. We're gonna like breaking this down. The course I'm having is actually gonna show this as well. Wilson and Patty are on right now. They were super awesome to be able to record some videos for us and show us exactly how to upload things. The quick breakdown though is anytime you have any recorded video, it's going to be like in an M4V or an MP4 file. Then you're going to upload it to somewhere that plays videos. YouTube, Vimeo, those would be your starting ones. Facebook, maybe. Then it lives there and you can embed, it's called. So below like a YouTube video where it says share, you click share and there'll be a little thing, a toggle that says embed, and it gives you the code. And you can embed that onto your website. If you're using like a Squarespace or something like that, you probably don't even need that. You just say drag and drop video and you copy the URL of the YouTube in there and it does the embedding for you. That's really all it is. So the steps are, the video has to live somewhere that does video stuff, and then you embed it into wherever they're going to watch it. In the case of MindBody, it's quite legitimately, you just put the URL in MindBody. That's how that system's going to work. And then when they click, it just takes them to that URL. So that URL could be just the URL for a YouTube video, a Vimeo video, whatever as well. Awesome. Okay. Can I charge? Yes, you can charge in there. I think we've got it. All right, friends. We do have another one of these coming up on Thursday. So make sure that you join back in for that. If you know another class-based business or wellness business that is struggling right now and they need to just get some of this information, share away. Share this with them. All the recordings are nested as well. I put the link up at the top. They can sign up for the next ones, pass it along. And I know a couple of you guys were so gracious as to leave me a really lovely review on Google and on my Facebook page. If you think this is valuable to you and you haven't done that, I really appreciate it. Much love. Stay real. Keep saving your communities. You guys are awesome. And yeah, we're going to talk about it soon. Peace.